Hey, thanks for watching. I'm going to talk about New Zealand and Sri Lanka playing in Sri Lanka in about 2 or 3 weeks' time. Um, we talked about New Zealand recently going to India. And a lot of the time we spent there talking about India A, but also a lot about developmental themes. That's to say, what these teams are aiming at, looking forward. And we'll be doing the same today with regards to Sri Lanka and New Zealand. The reason why, the results really not much in doubt. I'll talk a little bit about why in a moment. But we'll start with the New Zealanders again. In many ways, same sort of themes from the India series. The India series was again more or less the card. New Zealand probably played a little bit better than one might have thought. Ross Taylor, we talked about before that series, as a possible threat. Did come through with a century in the second test. Um, Taylor's obviously a fulcrum to that card. Is the biggest or the most credentialed player and the most adept stroke maker. Despite we talked about his record against India being really quite good, it's not good in Asia though. Even considering that innings, Ross Taylor in Asia averages 30.75 with an 18.8 score percentage, a very low 16 century rate, which is roughly in line with his career. But again, nothing flash and below average for him before, certainly. Without Taylor there, again, where the runs are coming from, it's an old theme with New Zealand, but it's true. Kane Williamson's still developing, sort of had a rough year, averaging about 30 this year. Um, Williamson's very young, he's 21. They're going to give him heaps of time. There's no real competition for his place, which is appropriate. But it's really going to be a matter of peaks and troughs, I think, until Williamson sort of puts it together. This is certainly another series against a very mediocre bowling attack for Williamson to show us something. I think Taylor probably will have an okay series. I think he probably, again, he seems to have a problem with his century issue. I think that's going to doom New Zealand because they're not going to score enough runs. I'm very confident about that. They'll probably get into the 200s consistently, maybe pop ahead over 300 ones, but fundamentally not score enough runs. They're taking a new slow bowler on this tour. Vittori won't play. Todd Astle, not sure if he's a relation, averaging 36.59 this year in first class cricket. It's actually higher than his career first class average, so it's not like he's had some run of form, which is what I was looking at, because none of the New Zealand slow bowling first class numbers are good, but I thought it might be a run of form. It's not really. 36.59 atrocious, but again, it's first class numbers. You're looking probably pushing towards something at 40 at test level. Jeetan Patel had a reasonably good India series. He took 3.5 wickets a match at 35.14. Again, it says something when that's a good series for your slow bowler. But they're presentable numbers, and consequently, New Zealand was perfectly presentable in the series generally. Um, India, you might think off the top of your head, look, India is normally a better team than Sri Lanka. That's not the case at the moment. I think Sri Lanka, particularly on the batting card, is extremely strong. And at home, which we're going to talk about in a moment, they're close to unstoppable. So about the Sri Lankans, well, actually, before we do, New Zealand, we talked about developmental stuff. Williamson, also Bolton Bracewell. Those are two young fast bowlers they're trying to develop through. Both have had flashes. Bracewell probably a little bit more than flashes, to be honest. He's had really good moments. In his Adelaide Test, for instance, and they're looking for them again to make a solid progression. To see how they can bowl in Asian conditions against really high quality batsmen and hold their own there. Tim Southey, if he plays, is going to have a tougher time, you'd expect. Just swing bowling stuff not suited to Asia. But again, trying to get them home for home series where they've got a chance to win matches and they can maybe schedule some teams. I think South Africa's visiting after Australia, so they've played South Africa twice now in very quick succession. But anyway, Sri Lanka. The reason why I'm so glum about New Zealand's prospects is the Sri Lankan batting card just becomes unstoppable in Sri Lanka, essentially. Sangakkara averages 63.06 in Sri Lanka, 37.6 score percentage, 5.6 century rate. Joe Adina becomes basically the best batsman in the world, averages 61.88 in Sri Lanka, ridiculous 44.9% score percentage. So that's in Joe Adina's entire career, so we're talking probably 100 innings. More, I'm sorry, I don't know the innings numbers, but 100 odd innings plus, maybe even. 45% of the time, Joe Adena makes 50 or more. 5.4 score century rate. Samuel Weera is basically a Sri Lankan specialist, 54.96, 37.3%, and 8.4 century rate. They're the middle of the card, 3, 4, 5. Angelo Matthews will probably play 6. Dilshan's fine at opener. This is going to be a bloodbath run-wise, one would imagine. There's not really any way. Even if New Zealand do make those initial breakthroughs and say remove the openers for 80 or something like that, or even remove the others for 40, then you've got to deal with those three, and dismissing them all for low scores is not really a feasible option. Certainly twice. I mean, even if you think of the worst case scenario for Sri Lanka, they're going to get to 250. New Zealand, I'd suggest best case scenario is about 320, 350 maybe. And then again, you've got to do it again. The chances of New Zealand winning a test here are extraordinarily slim. I would be absolutely gobsmacked if they did. But Sri Lanka's got a bigger problem to worry about. They're going to score runs. But the issue is going to be about their bowling side of things. Herat's been really good. Well, he's come into his own since January 1st, 2011. He's sort of become the player that Sri Lanka had counted on when Murali left. And Sri Lanka's fortunes have gone up with him. Since January 1st of last year, 4.8 wickets a match at 27.18. Those are really solid slow bowling numbers. And even good. Yeah, very good slow bowling numbers. 4.8 wickets a match is high. 4.4 wickets a match at 27.08 in Sri Lanka. He's going to get wickets. He's proven himself a really professional player. 34 years old, 600 first-class wickets. You can rely on Herat to deliver a solid performance. He's really solid as a word makes most sense. He's very consistent. But the big issue for Sri Lanka is going to be these pace bowlers. Let's go through the 5 that they've picked this year. Wellagadera, 2.7 wickets a match at 40.18. These are career numbers. Kulasekara, 2.3 wickets a match at 34.41. He will play, unquestionably, and he'll play in Australia too. Nawam Pradeep, 0.3 wickets a match at 345. Now, obviously, 3 tests are 3 tests, but 1 wicket in 3 tests at 345 against Pakistan. Not a murderer's row of a batting card. Not good enough. Dilhara Fernando, an old mainstay, 2.5 wickets a match at 37.84. And Pereira, 1.8 wickets a match at 59.36. They also played Suraj Lakmal, which I haven't listed there. Those are incredibly bad numbers. I don't care if you play in Asia or otherwise. And you've got guys averaging nearly 60, averaging over 40. Guys got 1 wicket in 3 test matches. And then you've got 2 mainstays that are basically 35 plus bowlers with less than 2.5 wickets a match. Not good enough, obviously. And if they come to Australia and that's what they've got, they're going to get destroyed. You can't come to a place like Australia and have that quality fast bowling, which is not barely first class standard, honestly, and expect to be competitive, irrespective of your batting card. I don't care. What I'm getting at, they've got to play some fast bowlers here. They've got to. I recommend. They're probably not going to do this. They're going to play Sir over Randiv, and Randiv and Herat will get the majority of the wickets. But if they're smart, they'll play 3 pace bowlers wherever they can. They'll give them the ball. They'll know they're going to win the test matches regardless, and they'll try and challenge these guys to get wickets against a really bad batting card. Again, India, yes, Pujara, they played Pujara, but didn't take the chance, too much to my dismay, of playing these young kids. Ditto for Sri Lanka. This is a massive area of need, pace bowling, and there's a chance for you to play some young kids when they've got a really high chance of success. They're going to have runs on the board, got a bad batting card in front of them. Play the fast bowls, get them something, get them some momentum going to Australia. I suspect Kulasekara will play, which is a shame. He's a fine, he's good at what he does. An old ball bowler, but the guy trundles up. He's a medium, maybe medium fast at best, seam bowler. Again, he can perform a holding role. He's not bad as a third seamer with complement next to him. But they need someone with some penetration. They've got to try and find that. They've got to try and manufacture that. If Nawam Pradeep, who's got that 1 wicket in 345, if I think he's a prospect, play him. But give him overs. That's my strong thing here is, again, this is a development series. Use it for the purposes that it was made for. Anyway, so that's my rant. And Sri Lanka, play your fast bowlers, and not just play them, give them the overs before you hand it to Herat and Randiv to just go nuts. You'll win the test matches. Let's look at getting something moving going forward. Sri Lanka will win 2-0. It's 2 tests. They're going to win them both. Too much batting, way too much batting. I think Sri Lanka's going to have an orgiastic feast of runs here. They're going to score as many runs as they want to score. New Zealand, I think they might have an innings in them of 320, but it's not going to matter. Again, look at my best case scenario. Even if they can roll them for 250 once, they're not going to be able to do it again. And 500, 600 are going to be fairly regular here, I think. But the slow bowling issue's just not there. Again, even if they make those initial breakthroughs with guys like Bolt and Bracewell. Jason Patel's not going to cut it. These guys, no spin. So anyway, that's that. Soon we'll be talking about India and England. Very big series. There'll be an extended chat there. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and stay tuned next week for some more previews. Thanks, guys.